But let's get right to our word of the day. And the word of the day today is focus. And it's not about being focused and being locked in or anything. It's about what we choose to focus on. Now, I already know that our Twitter poll is going to anger some people because we're trying to ask if the main thing is the main thing. But what do we want to focus on after the Eagles defeated the Packers? Okay, they won a playoff game. Jalen Hurts already in his career is tied for the third most playoff wins in franchise history from a starting quarterback already. Nick Sirianni continues to climb the ranks. They won the game. Now, you can look at it from the offense wasn't great. You can look at it also, you can focus on the 4 turnovers that they forced. You could also focus on the fact that once they got an early lead and the defense was playing a certain way, is there a chance that Kellen Moore as a play caller, and I was frustrated at times during the game, did he do some things to keep things close to the vest because he didn't feel like he needed to do much? Because I can tell you this, the 2 times they needed a drive, they went and got a drive. They get it close to one score, they get right down, they scored a touchdown to Goddard. We'll get to all of our Popeyes plays of the game. Then they get the long drive that ended up with a field goal. So when they needed a drive on offense, they were able to get a drive. And the defense, 3 interceptions, and you know what happened on special teams. It's really about how you choose to focus on the game. And I'm not going to say what's right or wrong. I can only tell you how I look at playoff games. I recognize that in the playoffs, especially with Hurts being out, I'm not talking about Russ, because I already said I'm being consistent. Russ is not going to be an excuse. If Jalen Hurts was seeing some things defensively, Green Bay did a lot of blitzes they don't normally do. If he was a little off, maybe he was just a little off. Does that mean he's going to continue to be off? I don't think that means that automatically. I look at it as they were able to battle their way through it. That's the focus that I have. Does it mean that's the focus you have to have? I'm speaking about how I look at this playoff game. I'm looking at it and going, A.J. Brown said he was a little banged up this week. He made it out of the game without getting injured more, and he made a bunch of kids go buy a book. Why not? Why can't that be a nice thing? Now, it was interesting that Jalen Hurts said he's only seen him with the book but never seen him reading the book, but whatever with the book. I'm looking at it as you have a defense, even without Nakobe Dean, that was able to force 3 turnovers against Love, who's a good quarterback. And while Matthew Stafford's an excellent quarterback, I can tell you Darnold isn't. So do we care who wins tonight? Because Darnold will look a lot like Love next week at the Link, 3 o'clock on Sunday. It's really about how you choose to focus on the win. But one thing we cannot do today, and I've heard the morning show, Kincade and Salciunas, I heard Mike and Bill. There are some people that are trying to pretend like they didn't win. And that's where I have to draw the line today. Anybody that wants to be critical can be critical. You want to be critical, that's just being a fan. But you can't pretend like they didn't win the game. Also, Ricky and I were out doing a little watch party yesterday with our buddies from Corona. We were out there doing a watch party. I happened to the mood there, nobody ever panicked. But I see people on social media going into that 4th quarter where a whole bushel of you were saying, this is a loss, this is a loss, this is a loss, this is a loss. Now, all of you guys have said that. Once the Eagles stand tall, can we get a my bad? You see, it's about how you focus. Now, I can be focused on however, it's about where you focus. I'm going to focus here. Offense wasn't great. They still won. Defense was great. Tackling wasn't always great, but they made a bunch of plays. Won. Jake Elliott did make 3 field goals, missed the extra point. That's something to put in there to focus on. But overall, the Eagles did not play their A game. They still won and covered. So what does that tell you? It tells me, personally, that the A game is still in them and the world should be afraid. It can make other people, they can look at it and go, well, they'll never reach their potential. They're never going to play well. It's kind of how you choose to focus. But for me, again, offense was played a C game. They didn't turn the ball over. Let's act like it was an F game. Okay, a 100-yard rusher who could have had even more. And last thing before we get to Ricky Bo, if he makes the extra point and Saquon doesn't slide, they score 30. They scored 30 in a game where people are furious about the offense. That gives me hope, Ricky Bo. Not that I need it, but I feel good going forward about my Philadelphia Eagles.
I think there's plenty of hope here. I think a lot of new school people think in the way of if the offense isn't going, you're not winning games. When, in all honesty, a lot of Super Bowls, a lot of playoff games are won because your defense stands on top of their head. I thought the defense was good. Like you said, there were like spatters of missed tackles.
Yeah.
And it was like it would be like 4 missed tackles on one run.
Right.
So it wasn't like every play.
Right.
They were getting pressure on Jordan Love. They didn't give him much time. Let's face it. He wasn't running out of the pocket. This guy, I got to tell you something. He did not bring his A game either.
No.
And that being said, the Eagles made plays when they had to. You get the big play off of the kickoff. You get a turnover off the opening kickoff.
Yep.
I think that's when I relaxed. The Eagles got the ball, and I relaxed. I'm like, they're scored here. They're done. And I thought it was going to be a little differently. I thought the offense was really going to take over a little bit more, but they didn't. But that's why you have a defense. That's why Vic Fangio is here, to put that good defense to use. Where better do you need a good defense than in the playoffs in the NFL? And I will say this much. You know what? Nakobe Dean goes down. You had Orrin Burke step up. I mean, guys always step up on this team, and I think that's one of the biggest positives that you could see. And I think I got to make a little comparison here, because you watch Jacobs run, not an easy runner to bring down.
No.
And that could have been part of the thing about the missed tackles. Some running backs are not built like that. You kind of hit them in the leg, they might go down. But it's almost like other teams trying to take down Saquon. You know, it's the same kind of situation. So, I mean, you could kind of just say, it's okay, don't worry about it, we move on next week. But isn't that this is all about? This is just all about is survive, move on. You do this four times, and you're Super Bowl champs.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what each side of the ball looks like every single game. Obviously, you want a perfect game. That's how we are here in Philadelphia. We want to see Jalen throw for 250, throw 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Everybody have their offensive game like you wanted them to. He did spread the ball around well, by the way, even though not a lot of big yardage. But he did spread the ball around well. Saquon was fine offensively. So, I mean, this team could go on Saquon alone right now.
Yeah, I mean, at times, and they made it tough for him, but you saw what was going to happen late in the game. Also, the one mistake we also made, we probably should give the Packers some credit. You can't go into the game saying, man, that's a tough draw for a 7 seed, and then when they play tough, actually be surprised. That's probably not the best way to look at it. 610-632-0975.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching our YouTube. If you want to help us out, go ahead and like and subscribe for us. If you liked what you saw, go right over here to our playlists and pick out whatever you want to watch.